What's up, everybody? My name's Danon, and welcome to Ahnestly. This is going to be a multi-part series where I break down how much you can expect to pay for almost every used Herman Miller chair. Now, it's not going to be for every Herman Miller chair because some just don't exist out in the wild, at least not where I am here on the East Coast, but it should be a lot of the different chairs, especially the popular ones like the Mirra, the Mirra 2, the Sayl, the Embody, the Aerons, etc., etc. Now, why should you trust me? Well, because I actually bought and sold a ton of Aerons, bought used ones and resold them. And during that time, I learned a ton of information about not just the Aeron, but about a lot of different chairs, a lot of Herman Miller chairs as well. And I actually created a buying guide for used Aerons, which is actually the #1 ranked video on YouTube if you search Aeron. So if you guys want to check that out, you totally can. Just make sure you guys listen to it on speakers and not with headphones because the audio wasn't great. Apologies in advance for that. Now, if you guys want to pick up one of these chairs new, which is always a good idea, you don't share anybody's body odor, you get a 12-year warranty, which is really solid. I highly recommend you guys check out Design Within Reach. I am an affiliate with Design Within Reach, and if you guys use the links down below, that really helps this channel so much. But again, that's up to you guys. And I really wish I could show you guys all these chairs in person. Like, I wish I could do a live review with you guys, but unfortunately, I just don't have that kind of money. I've reached out to Herman Miller, I've reached out to Steelcase, I've reached out to Autonomous, I've reached out to all these guys, but they only pay attention to channels with really high sub counts. So if you guys could do me a solid, hit that sub button, hit that like button, and if you feel compelled on social media, tag those guys and tag Stay Honest and be like, you gotta work with this guy. I want him to review your chairs. That would really help me, and hopefully we can start a chair movement here, guys. Because these chairs are expensive. Okay, long video ahead of us, timestamps down below. Let's get honest. I'm gonna start with the Aeron, but I'm not doing a deep dive. Like I mentioned, I already made a video that did a deep dive into all its features, price points, and all that jazz, so you guys can check that out. But I need to start with the Aeron because if you buy a really good used Aeron, it is probably the best investment you can make furniture-wise. I'm not talking about from a back perspective, I'm talking about from a wallet perspective, because again, if you buy a really good used Aeron at a good price, I guarantee that in 5-10 years, let's say you need to sell it for some reason, you will either profit or break totally even. And that's kind of unheard of in the furniture world, especially when a brand is known, right? If it's like some random chair off of Wayfair or something, you might be able to sell it for more because nobody knows what the heck it is. But these chairs are pretty well known. So that's kind of the big deal here. Now, what can you expect to pay? Well, it gets really complex. So if you're getting a classic chair, Classic Aeron, you can expect to pay anywhere between $250 and $600. That's kind of the used price range. If you are looking for a renewed Aeron, again, if you don't know what these terms mean, I recommend you check out that entire video. That's going to be linked somewhere down in the description below as well. Again, $250 to $600. The reason why they're the same price is because people don't know what they're buying, people don't know what they're selling. So that's why that happens. And if you're looking to get a remastered chair, which is only going to be about four-ish years old at this point, the oldest remaster is only going to be about 4 years old at this point. You can expect to pay anywhere between, I would say, probably about $600 to $1,000 for that used. That is kind of what those different price points look like. Now, I'm going to go through the different pros and cons of the Aeron. So pros is going to be that if you get one new, you're going to get 12 years of warranty, and that's going to be true for every Herman Miller chair, not only on this list, but every Herman Miller chair. So I'm not going to repeat that again, because that's going to be true for every chair. If you get one used, make sure you check out the sticker underneath, because if it's within 12 years, you can try to call your local Herman Miller repair shop and try to claim warranty. So far, I've had pretty good luck with mine, so you're more than willing to take a shot at that. Just make sure it has a sticker, because if you don't have a sticker, then you're SOL, okay? So there's that. I've got my list here because there's just too much to remember here. All right, so another pro is that used Aerons are readily available in most areas, and that is not going to be the case with any of the other Herman Miller chairs. The Aeron just is used in offices. It's a staple chair, which is another pro I'll get to in a second. But because of that, you'll be able to find Aerons more readily than, again, any of these chairs on this list. It's very breathable because it's got a mesh back and a mesh bottom, so it's probably the most breathable chair on this list as well. It comes in 3 different sizes. It comes in an A, B, and C to accommodate different body types, which you'd be surprised. Every other Herman Miller chair on this list that I'm talking about in this video, they all come in one size. The Aeron is the only exception on this list for that. For me personally, it was the first chair where I was able to sit in for 8+ hours a day without any back issues. Now this assumes that you're sitting ergonomically, meaning that you're not a rebel, you're not trying to curl your legs up into, pretzel style, you're not doing leg over leg, right? As long as you're sitting properly in your chair with your feet on the ground at almost a 90-degree angle knee bend, and your feet, again, our feet flat on the ground. I think for most people, it will be probably one of the best back experiences you've ever had with a chair. Now, I mentioned a little bit earlier, it's an iconic chair. It's been used by people like Barack Obama, Kanye West, you name it, right? On the recent presidential debates, it's used everywhere. You'll see it in the Avengers, you'll see it in Dr. House. It's all over the place. It has its own exhibit in MoMA. So it really is an iconic piece of furniture, which is kind of crazy to hear something like that. Because it's so popular, people have made accessories for it. I don't know if the lighting catches this, but this is actually a headrest made by Atlas Headrest. I recommend Atlas Headrest, any of Atlas Headrest products over anything else at this point, because I found out from a Herman Miller rep that if you put any headrest on a Herman Miller chair, it will void your warranty. Because I didn't realize this, but back here, the way it sits on the chair, it can crack the backrest, and I didn't realize this. And if that cracks and it's because of a headrest, then it will void the warranty there. The only company that was able to get Herman Miller to say our headrest will not void the warranty is Atlas Headrest. So because of that, I recommend Atlas Headrest hands down. So yeah, anything from them is also a really solid product too. This is the fabric one here. I love this. They mentioned that they're gonna have a couple products coming out in the next couple months or a few months. So something to look out for. They also people make casters for them as well, like rollerblade casters that people swear upon. I've never done it before, but I want to try it here soon. They last forever. Some people in the comment section in the other video I made were like, dude, I've had my chair for 25 years, which is nuts. They're just, the people have had their chairs forever, and they said it's such a tanky chair. It's built to last. So something to consider. And as mentioned before, Aerons hold their value extremely well as long as you buy a good priced one, as long as you know what you're looking for. Again, that's what that guide is for. And because it's mesh, it's a little bit harder to stain. And I know this is gonna sound like a joke, but it doesn't retain scents as much as cloth or fabric, which means that for some of my gassier friends, right, because it's got holes, it's possible that it passes through as opposed to just slamming on the mesh and then, becoming very not odorously friendly. Okay, so those are some things to consider. And that staining aspect of it, that's gonna become a real issue, as you guys will see in some of the other chairs. So what are some of the cons? At least the ones that I've come up with, the ones that I've read from other people. Tall people don't necessarily love the Aeron because the backrest only goes so high. I am 5'6", and as you can see, this is the Remastered Aeron. It goes up to about my shoulder blades. Now you can imagine if I was 5'10", I wish I was 5'10". You can imagine if I was 6 feet tall. This I don't know exactly how big my torso would be, but I'd imagine, it would probably be at my mid to mid-lower back at that point. And so some people don't love it if they're particularly tall. This is a size B chair, not a size C. So that, I'm not sure what that dimension would look like. So something to keep in mind. If you are an ergonomics rebel and you don't like to keep your feet flat and you don't like to follow all those rules, then this chair will literally hurt you because on the side, there's very hard plastic. And so your legs are able to spread. I'm not gonna show that shot because people mention and were commenting on my, my wide angle shot there, but I'm not gonna do that this time. But if you open your legs up, you're gonna sit on that hard plastic and it's very hard. So if you try to cross your legs, it's gonna be very painful. So not great for ergonomics rebels. It doesn't use cushions, it uses mesh. And some people love that and some people really don't like it. They want some of that sinking, comforting, cushiony, soft feeling of padding, which I totally get. So if that's not something that you want, then you might want to pass on this chair. There are complaints about the lumbar support on these chairs. Now, this is the highest end lumbar on this gray one here. This is the highest end lumbar on the Classic Aerons, and I have the highest end lumbar on the Remastered Aeron here. And something that I'll talk about in that video is that on this Classic one, people complain that the lumbar didn't go high enough because it really kind of captures that lower back almost into that booty area. Whereas the Remastered, people have complaints because while the lumbar goes higher, it's not nearly as wide as on the Classic. So, people seem to complain about the lumbar support on both of them. So that's something to consider. And then then the last one is that they are very, very expensive. If you buy them new, I joke about this, but it'll probably cost you like 1.5 of your own kids, right? Like it is really, really expensive. And even if you were to buy one used, it's probably gonna be the most expensive chair that you've ever bought at about, I think I gave this range in the beginning, right? It hovers probably around, for a classic or renewed, hovers around that $400 to $500 area. And if you're getting a remastered, it's probably gonna be about $800 to $900. So still very, very expensive. For the Gaming Aeron, which is a new creation that Herman Miller just released this year, it is literally the exact same chair as the Remastered Aeron, except the color is black, which looks sick, but that's literally the only difference. The one possible drawback, one downside of getting the Gaming Aeron is that Ahnestly, I don't believe, has released a matching headrest for the Gaming Aeron. So right now they've only got it in this graphite or in the gray colorware, if you like that. I don't think they have it in the black yet, so keep that in mind. Moving on to the Herman Miller Embody. You can expect to pay anywhere between $800 to $1,100 for a used Embody. And I know that's a lot. It's a lot more than an Aeron, but you're gonna see some of the advantages and disadvantages of that price point. So brand new, it's gonna be about $1,500. The Embody and Aeron are often pitted against each other. People are always like, what do you like better, the Aeron or the Embody? Because they're technically the most expensive, most high-end office chairs that Herman Miller produces. And because of that, they're often compared against each other. But they're two different chairs too, so there's also that. One is made with mesh, the other is made with fabric and cloth. I ordered my custom Embody. It's supposed to come here in February, so make sure you guys sub and stick around so I can do the full review when that comes. Anyways, the Embody was released, I believe, in 2008 or 2009. It seems to be one of those dates. And the good news about that is if you buy a used Embody, there's a good chance that it'll have some warranty left over, as long as you make sure you check that sticker and make sure you check the date on that sticker to see if you still have warranty left on it. Okay, so the pros of the Embody. We already talked about this. If you buy one new, 12 years warranty. If you don't buy it new, check the sticker, make sure it has a sticker, make sure you check the production date, and then you might be able to claim warranty on that chair. Now, because the Embody only comes in one size, they actually made a taller back for the Embody than the Aeron, but I don't have a ton of, I don't remember, and I don't have them back to back to show you guys the difference in back length. It's not that much taller, but it is a little bit taller. So if you're taller and you want that, that might be for you. Any Embody you buy, this is a big deal. Any Embody you buy is going to be a fully loaded chair, which means you're not gonna pay like an extra dollar for like an adjustable armrest. It's all gonna be built in. There are only 2 adjustments, I believe, that you can make on an Embody, and it's gonna be your fabric type, and it's gonna be your casters, and that's it. Fabric type does have an effect on the performance of the chair, mostly in terms of breathability, but other than that, you get everything. The arms, the back, the lumbar, everything is built in. So that's kind of good news. There are a lot of different unique color options. There used to be a lot more. There are a little less now. I think if you try different websites, you might be able to find more unique colorwares. So keep that in mind. And because these chairs are more rare and in the used market, you're gonna lose just a little bit of money, if you try to resell it later. So what I mean by that is, like, people may not want to pay $1,500 for the Embody, but they really want one. So they only see 2, and because of that, you don't have to compete with like some dude who's got 600 Aerons that they can sell, and they can lowball everybody at like $350, and everybody then has to lower their price. You can't do that, because if there's only like 2 Embodies on the market, then you guys can both price it at like $900 to $1,000, and you can do that, right? I guess you can create a monopoly that way. So there's that pro, kind of a weird pro. Because Embodies are popular, right? Selling them should be pretty easy, because again, Embodies and Aerons are compared quite often. And there are a lot of people who love the Embody and claim that they can sit in it for 8+ hours a day easy. And people who love the Embody are sometimes people who don't like the Aeron, and vice versa. Now, some of the cons. And this is something that I've experienced and some things that I've read as well. The Embody is one of the least breathable chairs because it uses fabric versus mesh, and it's using a single piece all the way down the chair. And again, more on the different kinds of fabric in the feature section. The lumbar support. So the lumbar support can only be adjusted, I'm gonna call it horizontally, I guess. It can only be adjusted horizontally. Like, you can only either tighten the chair or loosen it, and that's it. With the Herman Miller chairs and a lot of these other chairs on this list, you have the option to adjust vertical as well. That's not going to be the case on every lumbar support on the Aeron, but on a lot of these chairs, again, you have that option to, adjust vertically. So keep that in mind. The Embody is harder to find used. Like I said, I've probably only seen maybe about 10 in the past like 5 years that I've looked for them. So there's that. Now it only comes in one size, unlike the Aeron, so something to consider. Because it's cloth, I will say this: a lot of the ones that I've seen used on Craigslist, on Facebook, on wherever, they often had stains, and that did lower the price down to like $600 US, but it was stained, right? The other thing is, because it's cloth, there's a chance that it retains odors a little bit better. So if you have one and you need to pass gas, maybe you should stand up, right? So something to keep in mind. And the last con is it is expensive. A brand new one costs like 1.5 children. I need to stop using this joke because I'm gonna get demonetized, and I realize like I've got kids and I don't want. Okay, anyways, it's gonna be expensive. A brand new one's like $1,500 US, and if you want to get a used one, it's still, I think I mentioned this, it's still gonna be like $1,000 US, like $800 to $1,000 US. The median price that I've seen for a used Embody is around $800 to $900, and I haven't really seen a good condition one be any less than that. So something to keep in mind. Okay. So we're gonna break down all the features here. The Embody only comes in one size, and again, that's nice because regardless of which one you buy, even if you buy one used, it's gonna have all the features. Now, these are the different features it has. It has seat height adjustment, which means you can bring it up or down. It's got tilt tension adjustment, which means you can tighten the knob, and it's gonna tighten basically how easy or how hard it is for you to lean back in your chair. So there's that. It's got seat depth adjustment, which means that, and it's a little bit different because most chairs that I've used, the seat depth adjustment means that, here you're sitting. A lot of times the seat depth adjustment meant that the seat would like roll in or out, and you could change how far it went out or how far it went in. But with the Embody, what's unique is that the seat doesn't actually move. It's static. What happens is, in order to adjust the depth of the seat, it's kind of like a reverse tongue. It rolls out more if you want it, and then if you want it shorter, it'll roll back in. So kind of an ingenious little thing there. I really like that design. It's also, from my experience, the one where the seat pan can move, that was really susceptible to damages. Like it would break really easily. So I really like that design of the rollout tongue. It has 3 levels of tilt limit. It's got unlimited tilt, and then like 45 degrees, and then one that's like 10 degrees. A lot of people kind of complain like, hey, why is it that when I sit in my chair, when it's locked, the back is locked, I can still lean back a little bit? And it's like, well, that's kind of how it was designed. It's like a 10-degree thing that you can move back. So it has arm height adjustment and arm width adjustment. So it's able to go up or down. It's able to go slide in or out. But what's really cool about the width adjustment is that instead of just the pads sliding in and out like a lot of chairs, the actual arms themselves kind of shift. It's actually kind of cool. It looks like a rainbow, right? It's like it's actually kind of cool. So in an arc motion. And then the most important is going to be that lumbar, which Herman Miller on the Embody, they call the back fit. And you can turn a knob, and you can either have it kind of be more flat or have it really kind of arch your back for you. So that's the lumbar support on it. Again, the only things, as I mentioned before, the only things you can customize on an Embody are going to be the fabric materials, the frame color, the base material, and the casters. A lot of it's aesthetic. The only thing that I think is functional are the casters and the fabric. Okay, so the fabric makes a big difference here in terms of breathability. The Medley is their lowest line, and it's not great, and it can be a bit rough. So people often recommend don't get the Medley line. Upgrade to the next one, which is Sync. Sync is their softer material. Sync is a little bit thicker as well. So people say that it's got a little bit more cushion on your booty. So there is that. It's a little bit more durable. But the trade-off is, because it's thicker, because it's more cushiony, it's gonna be less breathable. So that's kind of the downside for the Sync. And then their highest end is going to be the Balance. The Balance is going to be, people said it often looks like the jersey material. I haven't seen a Balance. The one I ordered actually is a Balance though, but it's like jersey material, basketball jersey material. And because it's thin like that, people say can be a little bit slippery, but it's definitely the most breathable. So that's, a fabric that is really popular because of its breathability. Now the frames and legs, again, that's gonna be all aesthetics. I personally really think the white one looks super cool, but you have to then match it with the right legs, and that increases the price of the Embody. So something to keep in mind there. And then the casters make a difference because I demonstrated this in my Herman Miller video, but if you don't get the right casters, you're gonna be slip and sliding all over the place. Or if you get hardwood and you're on carpet, you're not gonna be able to move that chair at all. So getting the right casters is really important regardless of which chair you use, unless you need to get like something to go under it for that. Okay, now the Embody gaming chair. The Embody gaming chair was released this year, and it was a partnership with Logitech, and it looks really cool. It's like black and it's got blue accents, it's got Logitech logo on it. It looks really cool. And the media, at least the marketing, says it's got different features to it. From what I've read online, people were like, no, that's BS. It's the exact same thing. People were like, it feels exactly the same. It feels like the exact same chair. They claim that they're using cooling gel on the bottom. People were like, I think it's the same exact chair. And they're using the Sync fabric. So it's the mid-tier fabric. So it's basically an Embody with the mid-tier fabric, the Sync fabric. That's it. That's the gaming chair. I've actually seen one used for, I think, $900 used US. So yeah, I think a used gaming, you can expect to pay the same price as a regular Embody used, as long as it's in good condition. Moving to the Mirra 1 and Mirra 2 chairs, the Mirra looks like it's straight out of an anime. Like it looks like a weapon straight out of an anime. So it looks pretty cool. It's got this butterfly look to it. It looks really neat. And the reason why I'm talking about the Mirra next is because in terms of features, in terms of feel, it's probably most similar to the Aeron, but it's like the slightly lower priced, slightly cheaper version of the Aeron. Not by much, but just a little bit. Now, the Mirra 1 was released in 2003. And then the Mirra 2 was released in 2013, which means that the Mirra 1, there's a chance it might have warranty. Make sure it's got a sticker, check the date. But the Mirra 2, any Mirra 2 you buy used is gonna come with warranty, again, assuming that you have the sticker underneath. What can you expect to pay for a used Mirra 1 versus a used Mirra 2? In my experience, a used Mirra 1 is gonna range anywhere between $100 to $300, and a used Mirra 2 is gonna range anywhere between $300 to $500. So again, the used price point is very similar to a used Aeron, and you're gonna see that the features are very similar to the Aeron as well. Well, before we get to that, how do you tell the difference between the Mirra 1 and Mirra 2? Well, the big giveaway between the 1 and 2 is gonna be the seat. The Mirra 1 used a mesh seat, but with a giant foam cushion pad underneath it. The Mirra 2, on the other hand, uses just pure mesh. That's gonna be the biggest giveaway. That's the #1 giveaway. A lot of people state like, oh, you can tell because one has a plastic, they call it what does it call it? Polymer, right? They call it a polymer back, and the other one has a mesh back. That's not true. Both the 1 and 2 can come in either the plastic polymer or a mesh back. Both can do that. The seat is gonna be the #1 giveaway. The next way that you can tell if you wanna look at the chair is gonna be based on the lumbar support. So the Mirra 1 kind of looks like a Zorro mask, and then the Mirra 2 looks like sexy underwear, right? That's the best way I can put it. Like, and hopefully you'll remember that forever, right? So the Mirra 1 looks like a Zorro mask if you look at the lumbar support, and the Mirra 2 looks like sexy underwear. Yeah, I know. Get that image out of your head, right? The last way you can tell the difference between the 1 and 2 is that on the Mirra 2, that bottom unit that holds all the wires and holds all the little, crazy gears and stuff, it looks like a spaceship out of Star Wars versus the Mirra 1, it just looks like straight up a box, right? So that's gonna be the last kind of giveaway to tell you the difference between a Mirra 1 and Mirra 2 so you guys don't get fooled when you guys go shopping for a used one. All right, so pros and cons. Pros of the Mirra. 12-year warranty, talked about that new. If you buy a used Mirra 2, you're guaranteed to have warranty left on the chair if you have the sticker. Used Mirra 1s are gonna be the cheapest office chair that you could use for 8+ hours, right? By far on this entire list. It's gonna be the cheapest one, ranges anywhere between $100 to $300, okay? So the Mirra 2, another pro, is Mirra 2 is going to be the most similar to the Aeron. So it's going to have similar pros to the Aeron. And some of those pros are going to be that it's, got mesh on the bottom, so it's tougher to stain. It's more breathable. If you get the Mirra 2, it's going to, with it being mesh, It means that smells aren't going to get absorbed into it as easily. You're not going to need to clean it, right? The fabric on the Mirra 1 can get stained pretty easily. I've seen a lot of Mirra 1s with stains on the fabric actually, but with the mesh, it's going to be a little harder to stain. And then unlike the Sayl, which I'll get to in a minute, the lumbar control on the Mirra 1 and 2, if you have the upgraded version, is very nice. You can adjust it vertically and horizontally, which is really rare. That's like one of the only chairs on this list that can do that. So there's that. And another pro is that, again, it's very similar to the Aeron, but at about 20% less of the price. So if you buy fully stacked, fully decked out Mirra 2, brand new, it's gonna be about 20% cheaper than a fully decked out Aeron. And the same should be the case for when you buy one used on wherever platform you're using. Anyone who loves the Mirra, really loves the Mirra, says they can sit on it for 8+ hours a day. And the Mirra line comes in a lot more fun colors than the Aeron, right? It comes in a lot different color wares. It's pretty cool. It's pretty fun in that sense. Some of the cons. Mirras are kind of rare to find in the wild. They're not as common. They're a little bit more common than the Embody, but not as common. And then this is kind of what we talked about a little bit earlier. I've seen a lot of Mirra 1s with stains on that fabric. Because they come in different fun colors, brighter colors, a lot of times I've seen the mesh on the back be a little bit discolored as well. So that's something you need to look out for when you buy a used Mirra. So something to consider also if you want to buy one new and are thinking about, if you're someone who is always thinking about like selling it down the line, something you might want to think about. The Mirra 1, obviously, because it's fabric, it's not going to be as breathable. There are no accessories for the Mirra 1 and Mirra 2 because they just don't have room for it. And then it's still, again, like all these chairs, it's still going to be expensive. If you buy a Mirra 2 new, it's going to be about $1,000. And if you buy one used, it's going to be up to $500 used, although I think you can probably find it for a little cheaper than that. I think the average price that I've seen is going to be around, for a Mirra 2, a good condition Mirra 2, it's going to be around $350 to $400. That's in my experience. Okay, so feature breakdown for the Mirra. All right, the frame can come in different colors, right? It can come in graphite, it can come in white, and you can also get the back and seat in different colors as well. So it's fun. You can get it in like blue. It looks really cool. All different colors. You can get it in that polymer plastic back that we talked about. It's that plastic back, which looks really cool. Or you can have the mesh on it. And a lot of people recommend you get that mesh. It gives you a little bit more back support, I've heard. The base Mirra will come with no real lumbar support. It just has a crazy doohickey looking thing, but it doesn't offer you any real lumbar support. It has an upgraded lumbar. It only has 2 tiers, thankfully. It's got 0 or it's got full throttle. And as I mentioned earlier, that full throttle can be adjusted vertically, so you can land it wherever you want on your back, and then you can tighten it to really press down and give pressure to that area. So it's really nice. That lumbar support is actually, I really like that feature. I wish they would use something like that on the Aeron line, but what can you do? Okay, so just like the Aeron, the Mirra has 3 levels of upgrades when it comes to tilt. It's got 0 tilt, it's got back tilt, and then it's got back tilt and forward tilt. So 0 tilt would mean that you sit in the chair and you can't lock how far you come up. It's just an infinite tilt mode. The only thing you can adjust, all Mirras come with this, is the back tightener. What do you call it? I forget what you call it. the tension knob, which means how easily you can go back, but you can never lock it. So you can't lock it so that you can't go back at all. That 3-level tilt. The next tier up is going to give you tilt limiter, the back tilt limiter, which means you have three levels of that, which is totally unlocked. You have free swinging. Then the mid level where you can lock at 45 degrees, and then the top level where you get like 10-degree, area to move in. So that's the second tier of upgrade. And then the highest tier, the third tier of upgrade, gives you not only that tilt limiter, but also a forward tilt. And a forward tilt is, this chair is actually broken, so I'm constantly in forward tilt. So essentially, you're gonna be tilting forward a little bit here, and you can work like this. Now, a lot of people have mentioned that the forward tilt is something that older folks and people with knee issues need. But you got to remember, like, Herman Miller is not marketing their chairs to, it's not a geriatrics company. It's a really hip company that's trying to market themselves to hip people and hip companies or really high-end companies. They're not a geriatrics firm. So this forward tilt is not it might help people who have knee issues and the elderly, but it's not meant, it wasn't primarily designed for that. It's designed for people, for artists, for engineers, for programmers who want to lean forward a little bit because it takes pressure off of the lower back. So something to keep in mind there. And it's cool that it's got that. That's what I mean by it's very similar to the Aeron in that sense. Now, when it comes to the base Mirra, the base Mirra has fixed arms, which means you can't move it whatsoever. And then the upgraded Mirra has full tilt arms, so everything can be adjusted. The arms can be adjusted up or down, the pads can slide in or out, and just like the Aeron, unlike the Aeron, it can swivel in and out, and like the Remastered Aeron, it can go in and out as well, and then they can also horizontally swivel as well. So it's got all of those features. And then the base Mirra has a fixed base seat pan. And then if you get the upgraded seat, it is just like the Embody where you get that reverse tongue, where the seat pan does not move. And instead what happens is the bottom of the Mirra chair, it will roll out, that reverse tongue. It'll roll out like this to make it longer. And then if you want it shorter, it'll roll back in instead of that entire seat pan moving. So very nice kind of feature set here. And again, a little bit cheaper than the Aeron. So that's the Mirra 1 and 2. Moving to the Herman Miller Sayl chair. Now the Sayl is going to be the most color vibrant, color customizable chair in the entire Herman Miller lineup. And I don't know about you, but I'm a sucker for that because, you know, making it my chair is actually, I love that. Anyways, they were released in 2010, which is good news because any used Sayl that you buy, as long as it's got the sticker, it's gonna have warranty. So big thumbs up there. Let's go through the pros of the Sayl. So 12-year warranty if you buy it new, and a used Sayl is going to have warranty on it if it has a sticker. Comes in all kinds of crazy color variants. It's got a nice balance between traditional office chair and breathability / hipness because it's got a cushion bottom, like a real cushion bottom. Unlike the Embody, unlike the Mirra, it's got a real cushion at the bottom. So if you like that feel, it's got that. But the back is that polymer plastic, so it's got a nice mix of breathability as well. The price point is also nice too. It ranges, again, I said from $250 to $600 US. Used if you buy it, and even if you buy it new, it's actually the cheapest or one of the cheapest on this lineup as well. So it's got that nice balance, you know, between price point and office chair / hip chair. So something to keep in mind. And because these chairs, the Sayl is pretty popular, if you buy one new, if you buy one used, it shouldn't be that difficult to sell off. That's going to be the case for most Herman Miller chairs, except for when we start to get to more obscure ones later down the line. So the cons of a Sayl. Like a lot of these chairs that we talked about, it only comes in one size. Used Sayls are pretty rare, so you may have to buy a new one if you want to get that color that you want, right? While the lumbar support can be adjusted vertically, a lot of people have claimed it's not aggressive enough for some because you can't adjust it horizontally like you can on the Mirra line. Now, the fabric on the bottom, right? The fabric means it's going to be less breathable, and from what I've seen, because people like to get crazy color variants on the back, they usually like the seat to be a little bit brighter, and that means susceptibility to stains and discoloring and things like that. So I've seen a lot of Sayls, used Sayls. This is weird that it sounds like I'm talking about boat sales. I've seen a lot of used Sayls with discoloring on their seat cushions, so something to keep an eye out. And there are no accessories made for a Sayl, except for maybe, again, casters, which are more generic, and it's still expensive. Again, if you want to buy a brand new one, it's going to be about $750, and if you want to buy a used one, it has an upper price of about $500, okay? So let's go to the features. The Sayl is, again, Herman Miller's probably best compromise between cost and features. The Sayl comes in one size and it's got the following features. It's got height adjustment, which is standard on all Sayls. It's got back tension, which is standard on all Sayls. The base level Sayl is going to have a static seat pan. It will not move, it will just stay put. But if you get the upgraded Sayl, that seat pan, unlike the Embody, unlike the Mirra, that seat pan will move, right? So it's a moving seat pan to adjust how far you want it out or in. So there is that. It doesn't have that reverse tongue thing like the other chairs. All Sayls come with a forward tilt, which is really cool because, again, this is an upgraded, like you guys know, this is an upgraded feature on all the other chairs except for the Embody, which doesn't have it. It's an upgraded feature on all the other chairs. So having that forward tilt stock is actually really cool. I already talked about how the forward tilt is not a geriatric feature. It's not meant for the elderly. It might be a side benefit, but it's primarily meant for artists who are trying to draw in front of their desk or programmers who are trying to program a little closer to a screen. It also relieves back pressure on the lower back, so all those advantages. All Sayls come with a 3-level back tilt limiter. So it's got the unlimited, the 45 degree, and then that 10 degree. The base level Sayl has no additional lumbar support. It's just got a standard lumbar, but the upgraded Sayl has a lumbar support that you can slide vertically. The basic Sayl has no arm adjustments, it's just static, and then the upgraded Sayl is going to have fully adjustable arms. I believe on the Sayl you can adjust them up and down, and I believe you can slide them in and out. I think those are the only adjustments you can make on those arms. Okay, now the Gaming Sayl is, again, the exact same thing as a fully loaded Sayl. The difference is that it comes in different colorwares. They look really cool. You're gonna pay a little bit of a premium because it looks really cool, but again, it's the exact same chair as the fully loaded Sayl. The last chair, and in my opinion, the least chair on this list for today, is going to be the Herman Miller Setu. Setu. I actually don't know how to pronounce it. Setu, that's the chair. Now the Setu looks and sounds really cool, but I don't recommend this chair if you plan to sit for more than like 1 or 2 hours at a time in front of your desk. It's not just the Setu though, right? It's any chair that functions like the Setu functions, and I'll talk about that in a second. Well, the Setu was released in 2009, so most Setu chairs, again, as long as it's got the sticker, should have its warranty intact, okay? So what should you expect to pay for a used Setu? I've seen them range in between $100 and $200, so it's by far the cheapest chair on this list. So pros and cons. First pro is going to be it's very breathable, right? It is a single piece of mesh that goes up and down, so very breathable. It's very, very cheap for a Herman Miller chair. $100, $200 is what you pay for used to pay for probably like high-end office chairs, but it is the cheapest chair by far on this list today. The other pro is that the Setu can come in different colors as well. They're all pretty muted though, right? I think the white is the brightest that it gets, but they're all pretty muted. They have pretty, neutral looking colors. So it's not crazy like the Sayl or like the Mirra. It's got a fantastic, simple design. Like I've heard people say about the Aeron, like, man, that's an ugly chair. The Setu, I don't think it's gonna offend anyone. I think it looks beautiful. It looks like a really nice chair. And the last pro about the Setu is that it is better than any other chair that's trying to do what the Setu is trying to do, right? And again, I'll talk about that more in a little bit. So some of the cons: only comes in one size. It's not meant for long-term sitting. It has no other features except for height adjustment. And that's gonna become problematic because at least it did for me. I actually owned a white one. When I had the Setu, the height adjustment is nice. Now, that means you can't adjust things like the back tension. You can't adjust things like the arms, right? The arms are just a single piece of, I think, if I remember, metal or plastic anyway. And you can't adjust anything else. There's nothing. And the idea behind this chair is that when you sit in it, it's supposed to like identify your pressure points and give you the ideal amount of lean and things like that, right? Well, the Setu is very tight, right? Meaning that when you sit in it, it's barely gonna let you lean back. And that is by design, because if it lets you lean back a ton, right? Here, let me unlock this chair real quick and show you guys. If it lets you lean back a ton, like let's say you sit in it and you fly all the way back, well, when you're trying to do work, you're gonna have that neck twirling effect, right? Like how are you ever supposed to work like this if you're trying to do it? So because of that, they don't let you go all the way back. But if you ever wanna rest in your chair, like you ever just wanna lounge in your chair, just like take a breather, you're in a conference call and you don't really need to be that attentive, you can really never do that in a Setu. Or if you want to do it, you really have to push down on your legs, and that's going to cause your legs to fatigue very quickly and cause back pain. And that's what the Setu did to me. It was not, again, this chair, this idea of like, it's perfectly conforms to your back. You don't have any other adjustments except for, the vertical tilt. It's not a good chair. I've used other chairs like it, like the Human Scale Freedom, and man, all those chairs did so much damage to my back. I don't recommend this style of chair at all. If you plan on using it for just for a few hours though, definitely recommend it. Also, it's designed to not have a lot of lean, because imagine like if you were to sit down and then it like flies you back. If you're ever trying to sit up, you like have to keep your back off of the chair, right? Like you couldn't put any pressure. And again, it's gonna cause mad back pain. So that's why it's designed to be very stiff. Okay, sorry, that was a long con there. If you're using the chair on a hard surface, any hard surface, it's gonna be very hard to lean back because as soon as you lean back, the casters are gonna catch the ground and you're gonna slide a little bit, right? So it's gonna be hard to lean back on any kind of hard surface. So personally, I'd recommend to use it on a carpet surface, but that's just me. And then the cloth mesh. The cloth mesh is breathable, but it does stain. Like the white one that I had, it looked beautiful from a distance, but when you got closer, you just saw this giant stain on it, and I couldn't remove it no matter what I did. So if it's something that, if you need a chair and you're only gonna sit in it for a couple hours at a time, and you want something that looks beautiful, then the Setu might be for you. But for those of you guys who are looking for like a real task chair, no, I would say pass on this one. All right, guys, that's gonna do it for part 1. There's gonna be a little bit of delay between 1 and 2 because I wanna get you guys feedback. I wanna know what you guys are thinking, what you guys would like to see, what chairs you guys would like to see in the next one. I planned on doing the following chairs, but let me know if you guys are thinking differently. The Sayl, again, I don't know how to pronounce it, Cella, the Caper, Coachella chair, maybe. The Caper chair, the Eames aluminum group management chair, the Cosm chair, the Eames molded plastic chair, the Eames lounge chair, and the Equal 1 and 2. These are all chairs that I've seen on the used market. But if you guys have other chairs that you guys are looking at, other chairs that you're interested in, let me know. Herman Miller has a lot of these chairs that I've never heard of as well, but I just haven't seen some of those in the wild. So if you don't see one, just know that that's why. All right, guys, again, if you guys like this video, if you guys learned something, if you guys want to support this channel, please subscribe. If you're trying to buy a new one, again, please use the affiliate links down below. I love you guys. I appreciate you guys. Stay safe, everybody. And until next time, stay honest.